We are a full 2 weeks into a federal law enforcement surge in the city of Memphis, which now includes military police and other members of the National Guard. We've seen mixed reactions across the city since the Memphis Safe Task Force was first announced, with billboards welcoming the Guard while an encampment of veterans protests their presence. Here with us today to weigh in on the conversation is Dr. Kenneth Whalum Jr., pastor of New Olivet Baptist Church. Dr. Whalum, good to see you as always, my friend. How's the family doing?
Real good. That's New Olivet Worship Center, and every time we see Kirk on here,
yes,
I keep expecting you to come out with your horn.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Dr. Whalum. We've known each other too long.
Channel 3 version of the Memphis horn.
Don't do it at all.
No, I'm glad to be here, man.
My pleasure, for sure. Let's talk about National Guard members finally arrived this past Friday.
Yes.
And I actually saw a few walking along in the Harbortown area just yesterday. You say Memphis should take advantage of the Memphis Safe Task Force. Why?
Well, I have a little context here. I've been calling for the National Guard since 2023, when we had the mass shooting on Beale Street. Mm-hmm. There were hundreds of young kids on the street, as you will recall, and 8 of them were shot. At that moment, I just felt like we need something extra. Mm-hmm. I called for the National Guard. I approached both mayors. It was Strickland at the time and Lee Harris. Each of them thought it was not time yet. Apparently now the time has come, and I think it's a good thing, Alex. I think we are 2 weeks late, as far as I'm concerned, in doing the things that we can do. We're 14 days in today, and I think that there are things that we should be doing regardless of the National Guard's presence.
So let's dive into this as deeply as we can here. Who's kind of leading the charge right now that you like? Who's kind of falling behind, kind of following? Who's collaborating?
Well, right now, nobody's leading per se, but the vacuum has created an opportunity for, naturally, the mayor of Memphis is already on board with the kinds of things that I'm talking about. And I think Mayor Young has a rare opportunity as a Democratic mayor in a Republican-controlled environment who did not ask for the Guard, but who is excited about working with them. That is one of the things that he, the mayor, and I have been discussing in the past, as well as with the Chamber of Commerce. Those are the kinds of things that I think collaboration is right there on the precipice.
But you and I both know how a lot of Memphians are, not everyone in Memphis, but a lot of Memphians will say, wait a minute, we need somebody who's going to kind of push back at the same time because we didn't want them here.
Oh, I think we got plenty of pushback. We just told the story of the veterans encamping outside Sheraton. And most of the institutional organizations, NAACP, Urban League, recently have continued to voice their opposition to the National Guard and the federal presence. So I think 2 things can be true. There's going to be pushback continually, but this is an opportunity for us to work together to move forward into some areas that I don't think we're doing right now. Chamber of Commerce can do what they have been challenged to do, which is to help improve educational outcomes. It might not sound like it makes sense off the top, but think about it, Alex. The school board is about to close several schools.
Yes, they are.
That's inarguable. They are hemorrhaging. Our school system is hemorrhaging maintenance dollars. That's inarguable. On the other hand, there are plenty of instances of vacant commercial space in Memphis and Shelby County that the chamber has an inside connection with. They should step up, work with the school board to address those problems. And this can be done without any kind of position on the National Guard. The other thing is with regard to economic empowerment. Memphis is you know this better than I do, Memphis is 65% black. The weakest link economically in Memphis is the black business community. Mayor Young has convened a meeting of black pastors who have committed to supporting black-owned businesses on a monthly, weekly basis, on an individual basis. Think about it. There are about 8,000 black churches in Memphis. I might be exaggerating, but just think about it. If all the black churches supported black-owned businesses, over a year's time, it would transform our economy.
But it sounds like you are talking about a long-term solution.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people were saying with the Guard being here with the Memphis Safe Task Force, critics have said this is a short-term solution.
Well, not according to the president, not according to the Secretary of Defense, not according to the Attorney General. Everybody is saying it's indefinite. Everybody's saying it's going to be a long time. In fact, I just heard that in D.C., they already know that it's going to be into December of next year. So we don't know what the length of time is. My point is that if it is long-term, that just gives us more time without the distractions of the kinds of crime that we saw before the federal involvement. I think it's an opportunity for us to show the world what Memphis is about, and we have to do it now. Alex, if we don't do it now, then we are going to, I guarantee we're going to return to the lawlessness that we had before the federal involvement.
That would be very scary, to say the least.
The word scary, I'm glad you used it. What I think is happening, nobody is using the word I'm scared. These leaders I talked about, they're not using the word fear, but that's what is happening. The people, the followers, the everyday ordinary citizen is afraid because of the positions that are being taken by our leaders.
One other thing very quickly I want to ask you about before we run out of time. Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris's veto of the resolution that had been passed by the Shelby County Commission involving MSCS races all being put on the ballot for 2026. Good idea, bad idea, ludicrous idea? How do you view it? Awful idea. I'm disappointed.
Mayor Harris had an opportunity to really set forth what the will of the people is. I know for a fact, everybody knows that the community, the grassroots people, were against the termination of Dr. Fagans. I was surprised that the county commission had the fortitude to do what they did in putting all of the positions on the same ballot. I hope that there will be 8 votes on the county commission, and I'm hearing that there might be 8 votes to override the veto. But a short answer to your question, I am disappointed that Mayor Harris would veto that move, that courageous move.
And well, I got you hear the Tammy Sawyer situation. We're hearing Republican voices, we're hearing Democratic voices, all in this situation with the body cam video with her and her verbal confrontation with the deputies. Your thoughts?
The political rhetoric is unfortunate on both sides. The Democrats defending Clerk Sawyer, Republicans demanding her resignation is ludicrous. But I'll give you a real-time anecdote. We have a period of time at our church on Sundays where I come and sit down on the floor at the altar with all of the kids, all little kids. And I mentioned this to the kids yesterday at church. I said, how do you handle stress? I said, we have an elected official who said that she was stressed out and so she reacted in a certain way. You should have heard some of the answers these kids. One of the kids said, I would just step back, take a breath, and so that I wouldn't embarrass myself. But those kinds of answers, I think we should look to everyday, ordinary people, not politicians, to give us middle-of-the-road, common-sense suggestions.
Dr. Kenneth Whalum, always good to see you.
Musician Alex Coleman.
I don't know about that. We will have you back so we can keep this conversation, maybe not about the music, going.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
A short break. We'll be back in a moment.